Highburns and Highlanders, welcome back to Math Workshop. Today we are going to need a couple of materials before we get started. You're going to need a cereal box or cardboard or anything that you can trace on. You're going to need something that's a circle that's pretty big. I took this one from a Tupperware top, so find something at home that's a circle. You're also going to need scissors, markers, and a pencil. So go grab all of those materials before we get started. And scissors. The first thing that you are going to need to do is place your circle on top of the cereal box or the paper or cardboard, whatever you are using, and trace around the circle. Then you are going to cut that out. We're going to put your circle that you just cut out on the side, and we're going to create two arrows. One arrow is going to be longer than the other, so watch me so that you could do this after. I'm gonna do a rectangle. I'm going to do two little lines on each side and finish the triangle to make one arrow. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but this time my next arrow will be a little bit smaller. Okay, and now I am going to cut out those arrows. That's one. And that's the other. Okay, now that you have your circle, you are also going to need something that you could trace some lines with. So if you have a ruler, you could use that. If you have your writer's notebook, you could also use that. Anything that you can trace a straight line with will work. So I'm going to use my ruler. I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to fold it in half. If you're using the cereal box, it could be a little bit tough, but try your best. Okay, I'm going to unfold it and do my best to trace the middle line where I just folded. I've cut my circle into halves. Now I want to cut it into fourths. So I'm going to fold up. And now I'm going to cut into fourths or quarters. Starting to look like a pizza. And I'm going to trace that line. Now I want to create another line. I'm going to partition. I'm going to cut this part and I want to make 3 lines, and I want to make sure that this is equal. So I'm going to kind of measure out so that I have 3 different parts. I'm going to cut here and trace it. Then I'm going to do the same. Make sure that it lines up to the middle for the next one. And trace. And that doesn't look too bad. And now I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Make sure you're lined up to the middle. And trace. And one more. And oops, there we go. And trace your last part. All right, there we are. Now let's take a look at the parts and the spaces between the lines. What do we notice about each of these spaces between the lines? Yes, they are equal. Each of these parts are equal. Let's count each of the parts. I'm going to trace with my finger along the edge of the circle, and we are going to count each time that we hit one of the lines. Ready? You can practice with me at home. Let's start here on top, and we're going to move across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many equal parts do we have? 12. Now we are going to write in each of the numbers on each line. Remember, we started here and moved along, and this was 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many equal parts does the circle have? 12. Good job. Go ahead and fill in the numbers on your own circle. Now that you have filled in your own numbers, does this look like something you have seen before? What does it look like? Yes, it looks like a clock. We're making a clock. And now we know that the clock has 12 equal parts. How many equal parts? 12. Now we are going to color in some of the equal parts. We are not going to color each part, but we will be coloring every other part. Watch me so you can see what I mean. I'm not going to color the first part. I'm going to get my pencil and I'm going to shade in the second part. And you could also do it with that or color pencils. I wouldn't do it with a marker because it might go over your numbers and we need those. So skip, color, skip, color, and follow that pattern all around. Okay, now we have our clock completely colored with alternating parts. What else do you know that a clock has that we're missing on our clock? Yeah, the little hands that we had cut out. These little hands are part of the clock. The smaller hand is the hour hand. This is called the what? The hour hand. And the bigger one is called the minute hand. What is it called? Minute hand. So you're going to take a pencil or a marker, and on the smaller one you are going to write hour, like this. And on the larger hand you're going to write in minute. Go ahead, your turn. Now we have our clock and our hands. Every time we start a new day, that day starts at midnight or 12 o'clock. The hour points at 12. That's when we start a new day. In one day, we have 24 hours. That means that the hour hand goes around 2 times. This is in the afternoon. And then it goes around one more time for the nighttime. After 24 hours, we have a new day. 12 plus 12 equals 24. When we have a full hour, that means that we don't have any extra minutes that pass. I'm going to put away my minute hand for right now because today we are going to be focusing on the full hour. What are we focusing on? The full hour. So that means that no extra minutes have passed. I'm going to put my hour hand here. What hour would that be? It would be 1 o'clock. When there is no minutes, we say o'clock. It is 1 o'clock. Let me see, what hour is it now? It is 3 o'clock. One more for you. What time is it now? Sometimes on your microwave or on your cell phone, or if you have a radio, you might see a clock like this. This is called a digital clock. What is it called? A digital clock. It shows the time as well, but it shows it with numbers. It's not a circle with minutes. It shows numbers. If I wanted to show 1 o'clock, I would show 1, 2 dots, no minutes. That means 1 o'clock. Today you are going to practice telling time to the hour. That means that there will be no extra minutes that have passed. Let's practice by completing the first problem on your problem set. Here are the directions. Match the clock to show the same time. I see that the smaller hand is the hour hand and it's pointing to the 5. Which of the digital clocks shows 5 o'clock? The second one. So I'm going to make a line connecting. What time does this clock show? This one's a little bit trickier. Yes, they're both pointing up to 12. So it is 12 o'clock. Which one of these digital clocks shows 12 o'clock? Good. The second question reads, put the hour hand on the clock so that it shows 3 o'clock. So the long hand is already there at 12 because it's o'clock. Now we need to draw the other hand to show 3 o'clock. You will go ahead and do that. Next page, number 3, write the time shown on the clock. What time does it show here? On the clock, you're going to write it digitally. I see that both the shorthand and the longhand show 12. So it is 12 o'clock. What time does this show? I see the shorter hand is pointing to 1. 1 o'clock. This digital clock is showing 3 o'clock. So you would write in 3 o'clock. I hope you had fun creating a clock today. We will continue with telling time. Make sure you complete the rest of the problem set by yourself and send us pictures when you are all done. See you next time.